Hey, it's Aaron. Today I want to talk about the new Can-Am Outlander series, the 850 and 1000R specifically. For these are 2025 models that just came out, and I got to go to British Columbia in Canada and ride these things. They are really awesome. The 1000R is the largest of the Can-Am series of ATVs. The 850 is the same size, but has a smaller engine output. So really cool to ride both of these together, back to back in the same trails, same area and everything. Because it was still fall, there was no snow yet, so we were on snowmobile trails as well as riding on a Jeep track going up to the top of a mountain. Really cool setting to try these out. I hadn't ridden an ATV or quad in a very long time. Way back in the day, I rode them on the regular 3 and 4 wheelers, and really liked them. And the thing that I remember the most for safety is that if you wreck, you're probably going to go over those handlebars, and if you're not sure if you're about to go over those handlebars, you're probably just starting to do so. But anyway, unlike a snowmobile, you can't just bail. There's nothing, there's probably nothing soft to land on, whereas in a snowmobile, almost everything around you is probably soft. And you don't need a body lean. This was another thing I learned. On a snowmobile, how you lean is most of your steering. You can turn the skis all you want, but most of your steering most of the time is going to be because you shifted your hips and moved your body weight one side to the other, similar to a motorcycle. Whereas on a quad, that really doesn't matter. Shifting doesn't help very much unless you're in a very deep mud. And in that case, hopefully you have the right tires and other things for what you're doing. But anyway, what Can-Am changed here is everything. Basically, from front wheels to rear wheels, everything has changed. It's a new frame, it's a new engine setup, it's a new CVT, so a new transmission. Everything about it is new. And for the first time ever, they're breaking the 100 horsepower mark. So the Can-Am 1000R has 101 horsepower of output. That's pretty substantial for something so small. So the new frame was designed the way it was to add more stability and better weight distribution. It's really balanced. So where the engine is sitting and where the things are located on the new Outlander, it has a really good balance. It also has really good suspension geometry. So they were able to move some things to give a more acute angle on some of the stuff, and just kind of move things around. So you end up with like the lower arms. They're up by the engine now instead of being like this, which gives a lot more, especially lateral, but gives a lot more stability to the Outlander, to the vehicle. Because of that, they were able to add a little more suspension travel. So suspension travel is now pretty close to 11 inches, 10.8 inches up in the front and 12 full inches in the back. That's a lot of travel for a small ATV. Well, for an ATV, it's not small. These are better than the single-digit figures that were on the previous generation of the Outlander. So you have a 999cc Rotax V-twin engine. On the 850, it produces 82 horsepower, and on the 1000R, 101, like I said. Torque is 66 or 69 pound-feet. So 66 for the 850, 69 for 1000R. Most of the differences between the two, because it is the same engine, is in tuning, but not displacement. It's just tuning. So potentially you could see some people who take an 850 and up tune it, but honestly, you might as well just buy the 1000R that's already had that done. The new continuously variable transmission is using a P-drive primary and a dual roller-driven pulley. So What that means is it can deliver torque better, and then also on the flip side of that, it can engine brake in a way, so the transmission can slow the vehicle better as well. All because there's better contact all the way around the belt. So good setup. And then in the real world, the CVT isn't nearly as loud and whiny as it is on other vehicles like Can-Am side-by-sides or other things. Because one, the vehicle just weighs less, so it's not as much momentum you're trying to kill, but also it's just a better design. So hoping to see this similar design start to proliferate a little bit more. Another design change was Can-Am moved the intake, so the where the air comes in to cool the CVT and engine and other things, they moved it up. It's now basically right forward of the handlebars, which is pretty much the highest point of the whole vehicle. So by putting it there, not only is it less likely to get moisture, water, other stuff coming into it, but it's easier to filter, less dirt. Pretty good design. And then on a specialized model made for mud, they lifted it even further, so it has a little tower that comes up to get it all the way out of the water, so that even your handlebars can be in the water and you still won't have it coming into the intake. Very, very neat design. There was a lot of that going on with this. There's a lot of like body panels that just come right off so that you can access the engine, you can access things to work on them much easier. And then Can-Am has promised that durability is much higher. They've gone to things like sealed joints and other things, so that the rubber has no place for a gap for things to get in. Lots of little things like that were done to improve the reliability of the Can-Am Outlander here. And then the auto locker is a Visco lock. That's carried over from before, so that was there on the previous generation. The Visco 4-lock front differential is also carried over, but has some slight modifications due to the slightly increased weight of the vehicle. And then you have, bigger brakes, dual hydraulic discs in the front with 2 piston calipers, and then single discs and dual piston on the back on the 850. The dual piston hydraulics are on both, so all 4 on the 1000R, because more power, more responsibility, right? So all in all, this gives the measurement of the new Can-Am Outlander 88.4 inches in length, 48.5 inches in width, and 49 inches in total height without accessories. So if you add on the awesome boombox style speaker system, or the big cargo things that go on the front or the back, or both, all of that stuff, that raises the height. But very, very cool. I'll get to accessories again in a minute, because accessories for this are phenomenal. There's so many cool things. Actually, I'll talk about those now, and then I'll talk about the ride. So accessories for this, there's all kinds of stuff. Gun mounts, chainsaw mount, there's all kinds of waterproof and whatever boxes, and extra fuel tank you can put on the front. I had on one of them. There's the speaker system I talked about. You can Bluetooth with your phone. I loved that because the way they're positioned, it comes towards you, so it comes into your helmet rather than trying to blast through your helmet from behind or underneath. So it comes at just the right angle to come through your helmet right here. So really neat setup. I really like Can-Am's accessories there. There's tons of them. If you have something you need to mount on here, Can-Am has a way to do it. Really, really cool. Also, on the new Outlanders, if you have an older Outlander and a bunch of accessories for it, almost all of those should fit on the new one. They didn't change the modular system, so almost everything you had for your old one should fit on the new one as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, now let's talk about the trails. Let's talk about riding this thing. So the perception is that 101 horsepower is way too much. The reality is that if you learn to control the throttle, it's actually really great. You have a lot of power to play with, and having a lot of power means you can get out of situations or get over situations that you would otherwise struggle with. Um, and I noted this because I was riding the same trails on the 850 and the 1000R. In the 850, it never got stuck, it never had issues, but there were times like trying to go up like this over a stream bank, trying to go almost vertical to get over the top of that. It struggled a lot more than the 1000R, which just constantly had power going, so it didn't really have too much of an issue. Uh, Speed, just getting up to speed. So out on the trail, we were going up to speeds at almost well, we did a drag race, and at that, I have no idea what the speed was because I was not watching. I was too busy trying not to run into anything, just keep a straight line. In that, we were definitely going more than, we were going at very high speeds. But on regular trail riding and stuff, you're usually in the 35 to 45 mile an hour range. And that's just for a standard trail. It doesn't require a lot of work. It's nice and flat and easy, and you're just going somewhere. When we were climbing the mountain, that's basically what it was most of that climb. And the 850 took a lot longer to get up to speed, to get up to that 35 or so miles an hour, whereas the 1000R got there really quick. It's a few seconds and you're there. Slowing down, both of them slowed just fine. The transmission is pretty much the same in both, so they slowed down about the same as far as that goes. But the braking in the 1000R was a lot more positive, so you have to pay more attention to, if you're going at speed and you suddenly need to slow down, you have to pay more attention to your braking, because you have more powerful brakes up front, so there's a chance that you're going to do this. Because they're equal on all four, it's easier to kind of tip forward as you brake. But the Outlander has a foot brake that runs only the rear tires. So provided you remember not to be pushing the throttle, there was somebody who forgot that, but provided you remember not to be holding the throttle down at the same time, you can use the foot brake right there, which is easy. You get used to using it really quick, because it just becomes intuitive. So you push that with your toe, you push that foot brake down, and only the rear tires are braking, and then you don't have that tip forward, you just have a slide. So you can use that to brake your speed a lot, and then use the handbrake to slow down the rest of the way. So very neat setup. You get used to it really fast, and I really enjoyed riding the trails. Most of the people I was around were pro level riders, and I was not. And I was keeping up without too much effort. There were times, especially in the really technical parts, where I was taking my time because I was not used to that. I have not done that a lot, but very quickly, these machines are so good that it did not take me very long to get up to speed and going really quickly. Yeah, it was a great event and a good showcase of what these are for. And then all of those accessories make them exceedingly useful machines for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's the Can-Am Outlander. The 850 and the 1000 are really great vehicles. I'm going to do more of this kind of review. I'm doing more and more of these off-road machines, so just stay tuned here. Aaron on Autos is going to show more and more of this kind of stuff. So, and it's a lot of fun. All right, that's the 2025 Can-Am Outlander series, the 850 and 1000R. That's all I got. This has been Aaron. I'll talk to you again soon.